The small town of Hallowood lay nestled amidst a sea of dense forests, its cobblestone streets winding like serpents through the ancient trees. It was a place steeped in mystery, where whispers of forgotten legends danced on the breeze and shadows clung to the corners like wary ghosts. In the heart of this enigmatic town stood a figure, bathed in the soft glow of twilight. Her name was Jane Author, though to most, she was known simply as Jane. With raven black hair cascading in wild waves around her shoulders and eyes the color of storm clouds, she was a vision of ethereal beauty that seemed to belong more to the realm of myth than reality. But it was not just Jane's appearance that set her apart. It was the air of mystery that clung to her like a second skin. From the moment she arrived in Hallowood, whispers followed in her wake. Tales spun of a past shrouded in shadows and secrets too dark to be spoken aloud. Yet, despite the rumors and the wary glances cast her way, Jane remained undeterred, for she carried within her a burning ember of determination, a fierce resolve to uncover the truth of her own existence. For as long as she could remember, she had felt adrift in a world that seemed to offer no answers, no solace for the ache of longing that gnawed at her soul. And so, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the first stars began to twinkle in the night sky, Jane stood at the crossroads of her destiny. With each step she took, she drew closer to the truth she sought, closer to the heart of the conflict that had shaped her life. The night hung heavy with an ominous silence, broken only by the distant howl of a lone wolf. In the small town, where shadows danced with secrets and the whispers of the past lingered like ghosts, a sense of unease gripped the air. For Jane Author, the darkness held a different kind of terror, a secret she dared not speak, even to herself. Ever since she could remember, strange dreams haunted her sleep, visions of a creature with eyes ablaze like burning embers, and a hunger that chilled her to the bone. But in the light of day, she dismissed them as nothing more than figments of an overactive imagination. Yet, as the moon waxed full and cast its ethereal glow upon the sleepy town, Jane's dreams took on a new urgency, a sense of foreboding that sent shivers down her spine. It was as if something ancient and primal stirred within her, awakening a long-forgotten memory that clawed at the edges of her consciousness. But Jane wasn't the only one haunted by the shadows of the night. In the heart of the forest, hidden from prying eyes, a pack of werewolves prowled beneath the moon's watchful gaze, led by their alpha Finbard, a formidable beast known only as. They lived by the laws of the wild, their existence shrouded in secrecy and fear. And yet, despite their fearsome reputation, it was not the humans they hunted, but their own kind of rogue wolf, Andy, consumed by madness and driven by an insatiable thirst for power. His name was Andy, and his thirst for blood knew no bounds. As the scent of fear grew stronger with each passing night, Jane found herself drawn deeper into the darkness, her fate entwined with that of the werewolves who roamed the forest's edge. But little did she know that her journey would lead her to the heart of a mystery that would test her courage, challenge her beliefs, and reveal the true nature of the beast within. For in the world of the werewolf, nothing is as it seems, and the line between friend and foe is razor thin. And as Jane's dreams collide with reality, she will discover that the truest danger lies not in the shadows that lurk in the night, but in the darkness that dwells within the depths of her own soul. The night was still young when Jane stepped into the forest without the slightest of clue where she was going to or the possible danger that awaits her in the wild. For her, she believed it was possibly her destiny that awaited her somewhere in the wild. As she walks deeper into the forest, the whispers of forest becomes clearer and louder. She could feel her senses way more active than usual. You could perceive the scent of the people in Hallowood. Surprisingly, she could see glaringly clear in the dark. "Who are you out there?" a distant voice shouted. As he walked closer, it was Gabriel Hunter, a man driven by a hatred born of tragedy. A tragedy he blamed on the creatures he hunted with ruthless determination. With eyes as cold as ice and a heart as black as night, Gabriel saw every human with any sort of super ability as a fellow human. but as a monster in human guise, a threat to be eliminated at any cost. As Gabriel approached Jane with the 3 other hunters that hunted with him, his steps measured and deliberate, his gaze locked with hers. She stood before him, a mere girl, yet there was something in her eyes that caught him off guard, an intensity, a fire that burned bright and untamed. Her eyes were devoid of fear, filled with a passion so untamed of its flames. "Who are you, young lady?" Gabriel's voice carried across the clearing, the words tinged with curiosity and caution. "What brings you to the forest at this hour? Are you lost?" Jane stood her ground, her chin lifted defiantly, her eyes unwavering. "I don't know," she replied, her voice steady despite the tremble in her heart. "But I sure would love to be left alone." Gabriel's lips curled into a smirk, a cruel glint in his eye. "And what kind of men would we be if we were to leave a pretty young lady such as yourself out here alone?" he quipped, the sarcasm thick in his tone. One of the hunters, emboldened by Gabriel's mockery, approached Jane and seized her roughly by the hand. "Stand up," he ordered, his voice gruff and commanding. Gabriel's expression hardened, a frown creasing his brow. "Hey, Matt," he called out sharply, his tone cutting through the tension like a blade. "That is no way to treat a woman." Matt recoiled at the rebuke, his gaze flickering with guilt. "Sorry, boss," he muttered, releasing his grip on Jane's hand. Gabriel stepped forward, closing the distance between himself and Jane, his demeanor shifting from mockery to sincerity. "I am Gabriel," he said, his voice deep and resonant, "and we mean no harm. We only want to help, if you would let us." There was a sincerity in Gabriel's words, a genuine desire to assist, that gave Jane pause. She studied him carefully, searching his eyes for any hint of deceit, and in that moment, she saw something unexpected, a flicker of humanity, a glimmer of compassion, buried beneath the hardened exterior of a man who had seen too much pain and too little kindness. With a sigh, Jane nodded reluctantly, her defenses crumbling in the face of Gabriel's sincerity. "Fine," she conceded, her voice softening. "But don't think for a moment that I trust you." Gabriel offered her a small, understanding smile, his eyes filled with a silent promise. "Trust takes time," he said gently, "but I am willing to earn it, if you will let me." She stood tall before Gabriel, her defiance palpable in the air as she met his gaze with a steely resolve. "Trust me," she sneered. "After tonight, you won't be seeing me anymore, so there won't really be a need for that." Gabriel's brows furrowed in frustration, his voice tinged with disbelief. "You don't know that," he retorted, his tone edged with uncertainty. "Oh, yeah, I sure do," she replied, her words dripping with certainty as she held his gaze unwaveringly. A chuckle escaped Gabriel's lips, though it held little mirth. He reached out and handed her a small container. "Rope that on your body, so the beasts of the forest won't be able to perceive your scent," he instructed, his voice firm. In that moment, understanding dawned on her like a ray of sunlight piercing through the clouds. She realized why she could perceive people far in Hallowood, and not those who were closer. With a nod of acknowledgement, she applied the ointment to her skin, then handed the bottle back to Gabriel. "Thank you," she muttered, her voice barely above a whisper. Gabriel shook his head, a hint of stubbornness in his expression. "I'm not taking that," he insisted, his gaze unwavering. "Say it like you mean it." "Thank you," she repeated, her voice firmer this time, though still laced with reluctance. Gabriel hushed her abruptly, his ears perking at the faint rustling of leaves and the distant sounds that echoed through the forest. "Silent, everyone. There's something in the woods." The tension in the air was palpable as everyone fell silent, their senses sharpened to a razor's edge as they strained to discern the source of the disturbance. And in that moment of suspense, as the forest held its breath, the true danger lurking in the shadows was about to reveal itself. Suddenly, a low growl echoed through the clearing, followed by the thunderous sound of approaching footsteps. And then, emerging from the darkness, like a spectre from the depths of nightmares, came Lone Wolf, the most feared terror of the forest, Andy the rogue wolf, his eyes ablaze. With an unholy fire he snarled, a chilling harbinger of the chaos to come.